get a paper of the template has the shape of a seahorse, and I want you to write your name right on top of that seahorse, because all we need is the outline. We just need the outline of the seahorse. I also want you to write your name on a piece of light blue paper with a crayon. So crayon, put your name on each of these. Set the blue paper aside, and then flip over your seahorse picture. I'm going to be giving each of you a little stack of tissue paper, different colors. We've got yellow, we have kind of a seafoam green, we have pink, we have orange. I'm going to give you a small handful of tissue paper, and I'm going to also come by and just pour some glue onto the back of your paper, and I just want you to take a spongy brush and just brush over maybe just one half. Let's just do the top half of the paper. And then one piece of tissue paper at a time, I want you to tear it and then just lay it and smooth it onto the glue. You don't have to get your fingers in the glue. In fact, your fingers shouldn't even touch the glue. And then just lay some tissue paper on top of that glue mixture. You don't want these to be too small, or it will take you too long to get it covered. But one tissue paper at a time. Oh, my fingers are not letting that separate. You're just gonna lay that colored tissue paper on top of the glue and just pat it down a little bit. And just tear another piece until you have it pretty much covered. So I just keep going. Once I get that top part done, I'm gonna put a little bit more glue down here on the bottom. If there's a little part sticking up, just kind of dab it down with some glue. Don't worry about getting glue on your hands. I'll have a sink full of soapy water you can wash your hands in when we're all done. But just set that tissue paper on top of the glue mixture until it's completely covered. I love projects like this because everyone's looks different. Got to make sure I'm using some of each color though. I don't want to use too much of one color and not enough of another. So let's see. Don't know if I had any glue down there. Okay, then this will have to dry overnight to make sure it's really stuck down on the paper. I just want to make sure that especially the center has been covered with tissue paper, this part in the middle, because remember that's where the seahorse shape is in the center. So it's more important that the center gets covered. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. See any little spots that maybe need a little bit? I see a little space right there that needs to be covered. Oh, there's a little part up there. Maybe needs a little yellow because I don't have any yellow up there. So I try to kind of spread my colors out, kind of scatter them so that there's not too much of one color in one area. Oop, and then I got to make sure that stays down. Okay, and then this is going to need to dry overnight, so that we will come back to the next day. All right, now it is time. We've got a nice dry paper with our seahorse on the back side. We're going to carefully cut out our seahorse. Notice all the points, all these tips. This is difficult cutting, all of these little points that you have to cut to. Really challenging for second graders. But I've had second graders do this many times in the past, and they've always done a great job if they're going slow. So see, I'm just taking my time. If you just relax with it and go slow, you can get every one of those points. So I'm expecting the room is going to be silent so that we can all get that cutting just right. I have had second graders that find it easier if they cut off just one piece at a time. Like if I decided I just wanted to cut this section, like just cut this part from there to there, and then start over on this side and go and meet that same area. You could do it like that. If that's easier for you to just do parts at a time, like I could do this part, and then I could cut it off. See how I did that? And then I could do another part. Maybe go that far and then just cut that part off. So I'm just doing pieces at a time. Just make sure you stay on that line. It's the shape of this project that makes it so unique. A seahorse is a unique animal, a very unique creature. There's nothing in the world that has a shape like a seahorse. It has lots of points and lots of swirls and turns. It's just a fascinating shape, but a little bit difficult to cut out. So take your time. And then when you turn it over, there you go. You have this beautiful creation, this beautiful shape of a seahorse. Then you're gonna take a glue stick, and you know what? I'm looking at that light blue paper and I'm wondering if it might look better on a dark blue paper. I don't know, I hadn't thought of it before. In the past, I've always used light blue, but let's take a look at dark blue, a dark blue shade, and see if it looks better. It may show up better if we're using dark blue. So I'm gonna let you kind of decide. Here's our dark blue. Which do you think has the most contrast? And by that, I mean, which one do you think it stands out the most? The light blue, does it show up better on light blue? Or does the seahorse show up better on the dark blue? Well, I'm not sure if everybody sees it the way I see it. And people don't always see things the same way. But I feel, just from my perspective, I feel that the seahorse looks better on the dark blue. So I think instead of using the light blue like we had thought of, we're gonna use dark blue. So that's one, that's one thing we're gonna switch. We're gonna change and write our name on the dark blue. And then with a glue stick, you're gonna carefully go around the perimeter, the outside edge of the seahorse. In fact, I don't want my paper there yet. I'm gonna just go around it. Make sure every one of those little points gets some glue on it. I realize that we're gonna get lots of glue on the table when we do this because we have to get up close to those tiny edges, but that's okay. We can always clean our tables. But we don't want that seahorse to fall off once we've glued it on. Okay. We're gonna center it. That means we're gonna make sure it's as close to the middle as we can. So we've got, there's some glue. There's a space up above and a space down below, and there's space on each side. press it down. I have a little piece of tissue paper that, oh, it's just extra. And the very last thing we're going to do after that's glued down nicely is you're going to take some white paint with a Q-tip. You're going to go right up to your seahorse's mouth and you're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bubbles up there. 10 bubbles coming up out of his mouth. I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bubbles coming down out of the back, and maybe just 1, 2, 3, 4 bubbles down there. So you put just several bubbles anywhere where you know that seahorse is making motion that's causing some air to form inside the water. That's where you're going to put a couple of those little bubbles. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Let's go ahead and just make it 20. You have only 20 bubbles, and I'll let you decide where they need to be, but they need to have coming out of the mouth next to his little fins and his tail where he's swishing around in the water. Okay, second grade, let's get busy.